How you doing? This is BG Dino. You may have seen me on the Dante Show Network. I'm here today to do a movie review on the movie Wicked. This will be a spoiler review. I give you 3 seconds to consider. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Wicked is a 2024 prequel to the original Wizard of Oz made in 1939. And yes, I am the wizard. Who else would I be dressed like this? I am the great wizard. Wicked takes place immediately after the witch was killed at the end of Wizard of Oz. That's where it starts off at, after she was melted and her hat was laying on the ground. And it shows Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion marching down the yellow brick road to see the wizard to give him the broom. Then it goes back to the hat laying on the ground after the witch was melted. So it starts off pretty much before she was born. So then it goes back. It shows her mother. Her father was the governor of Oz. So every time her father would go out of town, which was the governor of Oz, her mother would go and have an affair with an actual munchkin. Time out. The munchkins were 6 foot tall. Not to mention, besides the munchkins are 6 foot tall, this is an actual kids movie that is showing how the witch got here, the Green Witch. She got here because her mother was having an affair with a bunch of munchkins and getting drunk every time the father would go out of town. I'm appalled. Jeez Louise. I thought this was a kids movie. I mean, they literally showed it. They literally showed the father leave and the mom go out there and just grab a munchkin and bring him in the house. A 6 foot munchkin. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, I'll be doggone. They destroyed my childhood. How dare you? So you mean to tell me the Wicked Witch of the West got here because her mother got some kind of munchkin STD? Are you serious? A munchkin STD so your baby come out green. And the father still didn't question it. You know, so then the movie, it moves along after she had the green baby. It moved along till she was probably about 6 or 7 years old, where she discovered she had powers whenever she get upset or something like that. And we talking about the same witch that was on Wizard of Oz, the one who got the water thrown on her and melted at the end. This is her as a 7-year-old child. She had powers and she communicated with animals. See, in Oz back then, the animals like ran the show and everything. I mean, they were the doctors, they were the teachers, they were the lawyers. They were the cooks and everything when she was a child. So they pretty much did everything, the animals. Regular animals, but they was able to talk and things like that. So as she got older, she got accepted to a wizard school. And she went to a school, and this is where she met Glinda, the so-called good witch. You know, Glinda, the one we all knew and loved. The one that came in the little bubble with the little wand. And she's giving us a story about only good witches, only bad witches are ugly, and the good witches are pretty. All that was cap. She was actually, the moment they introduced her, she got off being mean to everybody. She was more like, she was a narcissistic B-word. She was a narcissistic B-word. She didn't respect nobody unless they could do something for her. And the reason how she met the Wicked Witch of the West at the time, when they're still like teenagers at this time, maybe they're late teens, early 20s. So the Green Witch, she gets off the boat. She's very kind to everybody, but people looking at her funny because she's the only person there that's green. I guess green people just don't exist, except unless your mother have an affair with a munchkin and get some kind of munchkin disease. They give out green babies, if you can believe that. Did I mention I'm appalled? So immediately after the green witch got on the boat, like I said, everybody looking at her funny because she's green and no one else is green but her. Message. Just because someone's different doesn't mean you're supposed to look at them funny. It came off as a racist tone. You know, I don't really get into that kind of stuff. I'm here to have fun, so I'm going to kind of skip past that. But that's pretty much the kind of feeling it was given, like, oh yeah, look at this person, she's different from us, so we're going to look and laugh at her. So anyway, they made her so upset. Like I explained at the beginning, like earlier when she was younger, when she played with the animals, they discovered she had powers because whenever she gets emotional, she's able to use her powers or things like that. So the head teacher, the head dean of the magic school, which was a woman, and she saw what she did. She shook the building or something. So everybody was getting nervous, like looking at her like she was something strange. So the dean, the woman dean, she came down to the green witch, but she wasn't a witch at the time, the green person, and took her in like she was her daughter or something. So like I said, she took her in like she was her daughter and kept her close. Pause. Let me rewind a little bit. The Green Witch, she also had a sister. Because if you remember, from the original Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy first got to Oz, a house fell on a witch. This was the Wicked Witch of the East. But she wasn't a witch yet. She was just a little girl. And the Green Witch was older than her. And she was actually in a wheelchair. Which I thought was pretty messed up because, you know, on Wizard of Oz, when the house fell on her, she had the ruby red slippers on, and Glinda, the so-called good witch, she took them off and put them on Dorothy's feet. And and the funny part is, it made her feet curl up under the house, the first witch. And that was the last time you seen it. That's when they started the song. Ding dong, the witch is dead, witch is dead, witch is dead. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. You know the song. And that's when they had the introduction to the Wicked Witch of the West, which is what this movie is all about. Them two, how they grew up, or them three. The Green Witch, the little sister, which was the Wicked Witch of the East, the one that the house fell on, and Glinda, the Good Witch, the one that was the so-called Good Witch, the one that was inside the bubble, the one who explained that ugly witches are evil and the good witches are pretty. Not to mention, the girl that they have played as the evil witch, the Green Witch, she was beautiful. I mean, it's like I fell in love with her watching the movie. It was crazy. She is beautiful. I had to get my thought together. How are you going to have one of the most prettiest actors there is that play as somebody who's supposed to be a mean, ugly person? So anyway, you look at all her little mannerisms and stuff. I personally fell in love with her. When the movie went off, I wanted to go on a date with her. I said, let me find this green woman. I had to look up her name. Just so I can look at her pictures. I'm just joking. I ain't weird like that. I'm crazy. So through the course of the movie, you grow to realize that Glinda, the so-called good witch, she's a real narcissistic person. She don't care about anybody unless it benefits her. And the Green Witch, she's actually very caring. She cares about everybody's feelings and how people, you know, treat her and how she treats people and mainly animals. They had a teacher in the classroom. He was a goat. And he was like the smartest, I guess, being there, because I can't call him a person, because he was a goat. And she once overheard him talking to a bunch of other animals about what's going on, about how they're trying to get rid of all the animals and put them in cages so they can't talk because they don't want the animals to talk anymore. But nobody knew who put this plan in play to get rid of all the animals. Who put this plan in play to get rid of all the animals that pretty much had all the jobs, you know, pretty much raised everybody there. Sound familiar, don't it? It is what it is. I'm just telling you the movie. So, besides that, once things went on further, they had a little, what is it called, a ball, a dance. So the so-called good witch, Glinda, she had an old raggedy hat she found in her closet. And let me pause again. The Green Witch and Glinda, they became roommates at this wizard school. So Glinda, they was having a ball this night, and Glinda, the so-called good witch, the pretty one, found an old raggedy hat in her closet, so she thought it was funny to give to the Green Witch and told her, yeah, you should wear this. You look nice on you. So, the green witch, she didn't really care about material things, like how clothes look and stuff like that. She just went on with her day. She was just a happy person. So she took the hat as a gesture, and later on, during the course of the night, when they actually went to the dance, of course, she came in with the hat on, so everybody stopped and looked at her, and Glinda, she looked at her at first, and then she actually grew a heart. The so-called good witch, the pink one. You know what I'm talking about, the one that came in the bubble with the wand, that gave all the explanation. She actually felt bad, so they started doing this little strange dance. It was like this. No, it was like this. I'm sorry. Some little strange dance was like this, and both of them started doing it. It was real weird. It was something like this. It was pretty touching, but at first everybody was watching, then eventually everybody joined in. So even though I said Glinda was a so-called good witch, she was starting to soften up and starting to, feel bad for how they was treating the Green Witch. So, like I said, the head dean of the school was a woman wizard, whatever they call them. I guess she was a witch, and she took the Green Witch under her wing. So she was close with the Wizard of Oz. They came there, and, they explained the story of how he got there. He was on an air balloon, and he got there, and he found some book that no one can ever read, and he read some pages from the book, so they knew he had to be, pretty much their god. I mean, that's what he was. The Wizard of Oz, he was pretty much their god. So, everybody worshipped him and kissed up to him because he was able to read from his book. This is how he got in power. He read from his book. So the dean of the school, she had it where she sent a letter to the wizard and explaining to him about the powers that the Green Witch has. So of course he wanted to meet her. So during the course of that time, between the time that the letter got to the wizard and for the wizard sending the green person that will soon become witch, between that time, they were still eliminating all the animals. Like I said, the animals were the teachers and the cooks, everything. They pretty much did everything. They was eliminating them one by one. I think the last one it was the goat that was the teacher, and they was actually having class, and the goat was explaining to them that, this is going to be my last day because they're eliminating animals for doing anything besides being in cages. So once they dragged him out of class and put him in a cage, then it was another teacher that came into the classroom, and he was introducing the whole class to what a cage was, because no one ever seen a cage before. Because like I said, the animals were like representatives of human beings, I guess. They did everything, so there was no such thing as a cage animal. So he was showing them what a cage was, and the green person, which would soon become witch, she did something with flowers, regular flowers. She made them fly around it. It released some kind of, what's called pollen on people, and everybody went to sleep except for her and this one guy. This one guy, he was actually dating Glinda, the so-called good witch. And, he was dating the so-called good witch, so the only two people that was woke was her, the soon-to-be witch, and the guy that was dating Glinda. So they eventually found the cage that they had, took the animal out, and ran off. And eventually when they ran off, they got caught. They released the animal before they did anything. Nothing was really made, was no big deal really made out of it. So the next day, the wizard sent his letter back saying, yes, he wants to meet this person with powers and supposed to be so great. So the witch, the dean of the school, she gave it to the soon-to-be witch and Glinda. Glinda was like her worst student, so because she didn't really have no powers, she just was very popular. Everybody liked her. So the green person, which will soon be the witch, and Glinda got pretty close after the one dance. After the one dance, when the dance, when I said they were doing stuff like this, after they did that dance, they got pretty close. So the green person, which will soon be the witch, asked Glinda to come with her to go meet the wizard. So when they go meet the wizard, the dean from the school just happened to be there also. And it was this book, like I said, the book, like I said, nobody was able to read from it. That's the book that the wizard was supposed to be able to read from. That's how he got in power, because no one was ever able to read from this book except for him. So we thought. So because of the green person, which will soon be the witch, she because of her powers, she went over there near the book, and the book opened up, and pages started turning. So the dean of the school and the Wizard of Oz, which we already knew was a phony anyway from watching the original Wizard of Oz before the prequel, because they showed at the end he was just a phony. He was just a person. He was just an inventor. He had no powers or anything like that. So back to this movie. So they finally got her to read something off the book and put a spell on this monkey. Because if you remember on the original Wizard of Oz, it was some flying monkeys. So pretty much it was an origin story of how these monkeys started flying. So it was a bunch of monkeys around the castle. So the dean, she told her, go ahead and read whatever it's telling you. No one can speak this language. Only person that would speak the language was the wizard, which turned to find out he never could read it. It was all just a setup. He was the person that was eliminating animals so he could take over. He didn't want the animals to have the power that they had of running Oz or Emerald City or anywhere. He wanted to have full power. So he made it seem like the animals was like poisonous to people and was messing up the whole country, the whole little city of Emerald City and Oz. So he pretty much made the animals outlaws. So all along it was the wizard who was making it so the animals was getting eliminated from everything. And they used, and the dame from the school, she used the green girl because she saw when she had powers that she probably was able to cipher what's in that book and they can control. So the whole point of them making her put a spell on the monkey and getting wings is so they can use the monkeys as spies because they can fly in the air. So at this point right here, the monkeys, they start to grow wings, they getting sick. So the green person, which was soon to be the witch, she was getting scared and things like that. And then she realized that the wizard was a bad guy, was a bad person, and the dean, but nobody knew that they were bad except for Glinda, the so-called good witch, the green one, which was going to turn into the wicked witch of the west, the dean of the school, and the Oz himself. They were the only persons that knew the whole plan. So once she refused to do anything else for them and told them no, she's not going along with their little plan, they banned her. They made it seem like she was a bad person, and they made they had intercoms and stuff like that. They announced all over Emerald City and all over Oz that she's an outlawed person. If you see her, call somebody or get away from her, or because she's going to try to destroy you. And even though she really didn't, no, she was telling them no, she's not going to do that crazy plan they wanted to do. So they pretty much outlawed her. So then, she didn't have this before she even had the broomstick. So they was chasing after her, and Glinda and her was running away from Oz. And so Glinda generally was trying to be friends with her. She was trying to get away with her because they was in a castle, and all the security and everything, chasing after the green person, which would soon be the Wicked Witch of the West. And once they had them cornered on the top floor where she couldn't do anything, she saw the broom and she used her magic to do something, and she saw the broom move, so she said, and she used that, and this is how she got the broom to fly on. This is the origin of it. And as she was about to fly off, she was going to take Glinda with her, and she was going to go with her. So Glinda was told her, so she said, no, it's cold out there. So she went and gave the Green Witch a cape. So if you remember on the original one, the witch had like a black cape on. This is where she got it from, Glinda. So when Glinda gave her the cape, the security started bum rushing the room, so they grabbed Glinda. So she really couldn't take Glinda with her. So, all she could do was fly off. So she flew off with the broomstick, and they sent the flying monkeys after her, and the flying monkeys, they just flying behind her. They wasn't really trying to get her, even though they told him, be loyal to us. They told the monkeys, be loyal to us, and we'll take care of you. We'll find a way to get rid of these wings. We didn't do it. She did it. They tried to put everything on her. So she flying through the air. They flying after her, and pretty much it was near the end. And this is when she get up in the air and she do that song. I'm sure you heard the chorus like, so it pretty much went off. I was appalled. I was appalled of the fact that the mother of the Wicked Witch of the West had an affair with munchkins that was 6 foot tall. So, like I said before, my movie reviews, I go off like this. 5 out of 5 Pterodon soldiers is the best. 0 out of 5 Pterodon soldiers is the worst. I'm going to rate this movie 3.9. I had to take a point off because of the 6 foot tall munchkins. I didn't appreciate that too much. But this movie was absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed it. I actually almost wanted to cry at the end. This movie was great. If you got any family members, sit down at home, especially if Wizard of Oz mean a lot to you, sit at home with your family, watch it. It's a great Sunday night movie. It's a great movie to watch on a Sunday night. It's great. I mean, the movie was actually great. I actually almost cried at the end. It was touching. It really touched me. So I rated 3.9 out of 5 Pterodon soldiers. This movie was wonderful. This movie was great. My next movie review will be on Werewolves, the movie that's coming out this Friday. It's called Werewolves. But if there's any movies that any of my subscribers want me to review, I don't have no problem. Just leave it in my comments. If I see it, I check all my comments. If it's a movie you want me to review, no matter how old it is, I've seen everything. I've seen everything. You can test me out. You can try me. Just leave it in my comments and I'll do a movie review on it. I always make a preview before I make my movie. So just check my page. If you see the preview, that's the movie I selected. So if you leave a movie in my comments and you say do a review on it and you see in my thing and you see a preview of it, then that's the movie I selected. So this is BG Dino from the Dante Show Network. Shout out to the Dante Show Network. Shout out to everybody with the Dante Show Network. This is BG Dino. Salute. Out.